to reboot this way. Hey guys, we're talking vaccines today. So let's see, where's my phone? Travis making you laugh during class yesterday. Oh gosh. Yes, let's go live. Oh, Betty's already posting it everywhere. Yes, let's go live. TikTok now. All right. We're talking vaccines. This is my book from last year. Some of the stuff I did for the flu shot. I haven't done this year's book yet, but I don't know if I ever finished. It looks like I still have to have done the toxoids, but it was really confusing, especially during COVID when things were coming out. Which shot was the flu shot? Which one was for this year? Which one was for last year's flu shot? Which one was for H1N1? I started this project of writing down the name brand of the shot, like if it was Flu Zone or Flu Quad or what the name brand name was, and then also writing down if it was, oh man, a split dose where you had to take part of it one week and then a part of it another week. It's a huge undertaking because some of these shots are from H1N1 a few years ago, and they don't really give it out no more. And then the flu shot changes every year, so they get a new CPT code every year depending on which manufacturer is making it. So it was crazy. Just crazy. Just something I was working on. I even did the Medicare administration code for hip picks and what modifiers. But for this year, of course, it'll be complete and I'll get it all done for this year's notes. And in fact, last year's notes didn't have this in it. I was doing it after I had already done last year's notes and didn't have that info down yet, but everybody was wanting what I had after, because I typed the vaccines last year. I didn't do them in the printed book. I typed them, and then I started my notes here after the psychiatry part of the books. So immunizations were typed last year, so I won't do that this year. Come on, you focus, you focus, you focus. There you go. How's everybody doing? I'm sorry about being late. Travis was killing me. We have this routine. If he does an after-school event, he just meets me at the car at 6 o'clock because he knows I go live at 6:30. Of course, I waited an hour and he didn't show up, and I started texting all of his friends because I don't allow them to have cell phones, which would have helped, but still, he's managed 13 years without one and knows to come out the gate at 6 o'clock. And he didn't do it this time because he wasn't paying attention to the time. But I eventually got a hold of some friend that was there and texted him to come to the car. But this gets crazy with these flu shots. It's a good thing we don't have a lot of this on the CPC exam. We might have, what would be on there is what would be the flu shot for the 65-year-old or older. And that's why the names are kind of important, knowing the manufacturer names of them, because the flu mist wouldn't be given to a 65-year-old. Anyway, I was working on that last year. I'll finish it for this year. But hey, Michelle. Hey, Betty. Hey, Char, Jill. Mean, I've got tutoring with you tomorrow. Our winner of the free tutoring session, I think, tomorrow. Thank you for the happy birthday perfectly. Accordingly, hey, there's my girl. I missed her today. Her and I both had conflicting schedules that kept us from tutoring today, so I'll be doing her in the morning. It's good to see you too. So one cool thing that I have not shared with you guys about these vaccine codes, the 60 and the 61, y'all know that I told y'all that if they do MD counseling, the doctor tells the patient about the risk of getting the vaccines and the risk of not getting the vaccines. They get counseled on it. We use these codes. Well, if they don't get counseled, they just come in for, even if they come in for a well child check, it doesn't matter. And they're just ordered vaccines, but they didn't get the counseling, we might give these 71s and 72s. The other interesting thing is, one thing that I don't believe I've said out loud is that if they don't get counseling and they just get ordered the shots and the shots are given, whether it's a nurse visit or with a well child check, no counseling is given. That's where these 71 and 72 play in, where you give them once per vaccine, not component. You remember how I was telling you, like, we've never billed that way when I was in medicine? We always just billed per vaccine. And the reason why is when you get the counseling, these are the ones that get the components. So it's really interesting. They don't have it in last year's book, but if I look at this year's book, I'm going to go switch that real quick. They've written up a little bit more information about that particular scenario for the component part of it. Up here in this paragraph, right here about the components refer to the antigens in the vaccine, and the multiple stereotypes and the different components that are given in those vaccines. And the combination vaccines contain multiple vaccine components in it. And only on these 60 and 61s do we bill per component. On the 71 and 72, we just bill per vaccine, which is pointed out in these guidelines right before we code those vaccines. So that's probably one thing that's really confusing to people as they're doing these immunization practice questions, is that sometimes we bill for the components and sometimes we only bill per vaccine. So that can be pretty challenging. I still got to write it all up and make better sense out of it. But the ones that get the components are only the 60 and the 61. So that helps out a whole lot. And I've got some more practice questions with vaccines for tonight. So we'll go through those and see how different they are. No. You all are amazing, for sure. Ooh, I was typing on my screen right here. Let me get this out of here. And let's just start right away with the questions because I'm late and I know it's late in some of y'all's areas. And I just want to make sure I get everybody some questions in before it gets too late and y'all got to go to bed. So let me start out with this good anatomy one. We've been dealing with the small intestines with that duodenum question about the microscopic evaluation of what was removed from a resection in the duodenum, which happened to be in the small intestines. We've been dealing with that for a couple of weeks. I've been showing off that question, but I've not shared a question about what is in the large intestines. So here's your first anatomy one for tonight. Hopefully I got it in a good screen position for you guys. Thank you, Megs. Thank you, Jeep, for the follow. We got a vote for C. 2 votes for C. And if you don't have whatever is made up in the large intestines written on your digestive page, which if you're in the 2022 book, right? Let's see, we're looking for purple, right? Purple is our digestion. So page 342, you should have this list written in somewhere on this page, just in case. AAPC loves their little list. So let's see if C is right, and C is right. So be sure and have that list written out. What is in the small intestines will be a separate question or a list, and then write this list of what is in the large intestines. That'll help you out with any questions they ask about this, for sure, during the questions. All right. I know this is not ear and eye and immunizations, but I had been looking for this question and I found it tonight, so I wanted to make sure I put it down somewhere so I wouldn't lose it again. So we're going to go here first, and then we'll do that, ears and eyes and stuff. So this question is mainly to do with the modifier. Are we using the modifier or not? And then it's just a difference between 2 codes. So let's just go look at these codes and see what's going on. So we got 541. 541. $50 and $60. So they're both circumcisions. So when they start out with the same description words, and they're both 2 parents, be sure to write down your one difference between those. One of them is using a clamp and one of them is using excision. We rarely use the clamp when we did them in the office. Our doctor was old school. He'd pick up a pair of tweezers and a pair of scissors and just start cutting away. So the clamp one way, or no clamp the other way. So here's your question. So we are using a clamp. So we're going to be able to get rid of, which 2 are we going to get rid of? Since we are using a clamp. We'll get rid of 60s, which is B and D. And then they just want to know if we're going to use that modifier 52 or not. Modifier 52 is reduced services, right? Do we do reduced services in a circumcision? It's an interesting question. Yeah, if you're paying attention to your parentheticals, underneath your do not is that one special parenthetical that says to report 50 with modifier 52 if you perform it without a block. So they did it without the block, so we would add the 52 modifier. So just want to make sure everybody knows where that parenthetical is, because that's really important. And then that's on page 429 of your CPT book. So super important right there. And there's your rationale for that one. All right, y'all were wanting some ICD-10 sequencing. What would go first in a particular situation? So I got a pregnancy out. Yeah, it's rough sometimes, that block, not to use it, to use it. It's weird. And the way it's written in the CPT book, I agree, it's very weird. All right, so sequencing for diagnosis code. So I got an OB out because they're always going to have multiple codes with them, when you're dealing with pregnancy. What's the one consistency we will definitely always have is how many weeks we are pregnant. So if you notice, the last code should always be sequencing your code that describes how many weeks pregnant they are. This could be 29, this could be 12, it could be any number, because the last two digits right here represents how many weeks they are pregnant. So this Z3A should always be your last diagnosis code in your sequencing of diagnoses, no matter what's going on with the pregnancy. So seeing that 3 answers have that answer and 1 doesn't, I would at least get rid of the one that doesn't before I tackled my first diagnosis codes to see what my differences are. That can help you eliminate. Now you're down from a 25% chance to, you've got a better chance here with 3 answers than 4. So that's helpful. You never know with pregnancy if we might be doing a Z code first. So I don't know. Process of elimination takes me to liken the 2 zeros right away because they're similar, right? So I would probably go to the 014 and the 09 to see what my differences are in those 2 areas before I worry about the Z code. But sometimes those can be your first diagnosis codes in OB. So I really wouldn't eliminate it yet, but I'd leave it there and not pay attention. Sorry, I keep hitting that thing. So 014 and 09, I wouldn't worry about going down to the 893 number or the 03. Just see what your headers are, the 014 and the 09. So 09, if you're in my book, it's on page 908 of the ICD-10 book. It says supervision of high-risk pregnancy. And I think this thing is just sliding. And then the 014 is on page 910, we've got preeclampsia. I don't know why it keeps sliding. My table must be uneven today. So we've got preeclampsia, or we've got high-risk pregnancy. So let's check out what's wrong with our patient, see how she's doing, and see how we would be diagnosing for today. She got 3 extra visits. No problems did develop. when we just have history of preeclampsia. No, she's 30 weeks pregnant. It's not her age. She's 30 weeks. That's why we have the 30 at the back end. We got B's and D's. What else? B's and D's. B's and D's, everybody's saying. If you picked 014, if you look at your diagnosis code, it says she has preeclampsia. Right here. She has preeclampsia with this pregnancy today, and this is why she's being seen today. That's not what it says. It says there was no problem developed. They just watched her closely, and they saw her 3 extra visits during her global period because she had a history of preeclampsia. Her current pregnancy did not result in any preeclampsia. Her previous pregnancy did, however. So be careful with that one. She's definitely not currently preeclamptic. Your Z34 is encounter, well, the header is encounter for supervision of normal pregnancy. If I go down to 83, it says encounter of supervision of other normal pregnancy 3rd trimester. What we're billing for is for the 3 extra visits due to her history of preeclampsia, which puts her at a higher risk for future pregnancies to have preeclampsia. So she's not a normal pregnancy. She's not normal. She had preeclampsia before. She's most definitely a high-risk pregnancy. If we look at our, let me get my author book from last year. I got that one because this year I typed it. So I can show you our guidelines for pregnancy. I need to write up something like I did for the diabetes for you guys. That is just all pregnancy on the pregnancy diagnosis codes. I move all the guidelines to the pregnancy guide code so that you can see them all with the codes like I did the diabetes. I think that would be helpful. But if we go to our guidelines in the front of the book, what makes a patient a high-risk pregnancy and what you would diagnose the current pregnancy at if they were high risk is if they're over 35, under 16, ever had any fertility issues, had a non-viable pregnancy in the past, or had a history of preterm labor. For those reasons, she will be considered a high-risk pregnancy every time. Is that our book? That's our, I was like, where did the picture come from? Anyway, that's from our book. So as soon as they've ever had preterm labor or a history of any problems like that before in previous pregnancies, like preeclampsia, they will be given that 009 code as their first sequence code for all their visits. Not just the 3 that they added on. But the interesting thing that really happens in real life when you are seeing pregnancy patients is you don't bill them until after you see them for their post-op, post-delivery care 9 months later, plus 6 weeks or 8 weeks later for C-section and or vaginal delivery post-op care. You don't bill any of their OB visits, their ultrasounds, the weekly visits, the monthly visits. You don't bill any of it until the end. So it's really funny how the AAPC is having us bill 3 visits when you really wouldn't bill 3 visits. You just collect it all and eventually turn it in because it's all one global payment for all of it together. I did OB and delivery in the late 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. I'm trying to think, did we have any? We probably did only have private insurances. I don't know. We did global, and I did the prior auths for that, and then took care of all of them from birth to delivery, and then all their immunizations. Even took care of the post-op care for mom. We did all the circumcisions and stuff, so it was great. We had OB family practice doctors, which was wonderful. They don't even make those anymore. The liability for that service is something insurance companies won't cover anymore, so they don't make those doctors hardly anymore. So anyway, it was years ago, and I believe it's still global many, many times. We submit and we keep record of it, of course, of all their visits and send maybe tracking info, but we don't actually get paid for any of the visits till after you've already been delivered and all that kind of stuff, as far as I know. Because they don't pay on individual claims, it's capitated, it's a global, just like you won't bill for your post-op visits and your pre-op visits for a surgery. None of that's billed until after you finish the surgery and you see them at the very end for their 6 weeks post-op or whatever. Hip surgeries, knee surgeries, they're all done that way. The computer takes care of all that for you. Nothing that you need to worry about. We still capture the visit, the date of service, what codes would be used and all that stuff. But as far as billing and getting paid, there's a different story there. That's okay. Nothing we need to really worry about, but I just think it's cool to know that. Hey, Allie, how's it going? So for sequencing and for everything else, you learned a little bit about the A30 means the weeks pregnant she is. She comes back next week. She'll be 31. We'll change that to a 31. And we'll always bill our 009 first because she'll be high risk from here on out. Another anatomy one. Hey, Lily. Anybody want to take a guess at what is the transparent part of the eye? And if you don't have this written in on your eye anatomy in your CPT book, it's a good time to write this in. I think this question was even on my exam. So page 498, we got some A's and B's. A's and B's. We've got B is our cornea. It is the transparent front part of the eye that covers the iris, pupil, and anterior chamber. It also refracts. I'm just making notes. Transparent front cover. Because I think mine just said it refracts. I have so much notes. It gets crazy. What is the windshield of the eye? It protects our eye from impact. What would that be? Anybody know? Good job, perfectly. Yep, the anterior chamber, front chamber, protects it from impact. It feels weird when something hits your eye. You can definitely feel it bulging, but it does a good job of being a protective windshield there for sure. Eyelids. You did this section of notes. Yay. Oh, Betty wrote it for me. Yeah. My notes look like it says light trap, but instead it's light rays. So I need to work on spacing my words out. They're written so close together. Oops, let me get to here and get to here, and let me put in one more space. Get this down. There we go. All right. This was a new one I've never done before. So let's see what's going on. Yes, you speak Jen well. You can translate my handwriting, my thoughts, and you know more than I do a lot of times on when I'm going live, where I'm at, what I'm doing. You're good. You speak Jen well. All right. Where are we going with these codes? What would the process of elimination or similarities, whatever you want to call it, get you to keep? Whoops, 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 whoops. I'm tapping my screen. Stop it. Don't need to do that. Get that back here. Yeah, we've got this, gosh, the 5, the 1, the 0, and 0. Yeah, they're all crazy. What is our 69000? Where are we at? What's going on with that one? We in the ear? We are in the ear. We're draining an abscess. Ew. All right. And then 20 is also draining an abscess. So they're both abscess. They're both external. One of them is in the auditory canal. Probably more along the lines of near the eardrum. Okay. So let's see what's going on with our patient. So ignore external is going to help you. That way you don't pick the wrong code because they're both external, but technically one of them's inner in the ear, but it's still considered external, if that makes sense. You got to go down in there pretty far before they consider it to be internal ear. That's why I drew this picture on mine I did external ear goes all the way from your sound device. What the shape of your ear is actually like a satellite dish, sort of. It's for sound conducting. It helps bring in the sound. And anyway, that's part of your ear, but it goes all the way to that point. And that's all external. They consider all of that external. Then we've got from just that line to here is middle, and then here to here is your internal, technically. So that might help if y'all want to do that. Just because it says external doesn't mean it's all out here where we get the ears pierced and stuff. Some of this external is still what I would consider internal. Like, don't stick that Q-tip in your ear, places it's not supposed to be. So definitely if we're in the canal, then we are definitely at C, guys. C. And we're definitely doing an abscess. And process of elimination gets you to keep these 690s. We would get rid of the 91 and the 95. And we just decide between these two. Just be careful about the word external when you're dealing with the ear, because external goes way into the ear as far as I'm concerned. Because you can damage your ear. Yep. So C is the answer. My 3 lives yesterday finally posted on YouTube. I was so worried about them last night. I was going to go on a live again and do it the 4th time, but then nothing was posting, even 3 or 4 hours after the workshop. I was like, nothing is posting. What's wrong? And then there was a warning on the workshop because they thought it was inappropriate for most audiences. So I think it was because of the picture of the aorta that I had at the very beginning. So I submitted it for an appeal, and they said it would take 7 days, but I woke up this morning and all 3 were approved and posted. So I've got 2 lives from yesterday that were book prep for radiology, and then I have the workshop that I did for lab path, some medicine, cardiology, and something else. E&M, yeah. And we did 1 immunization. Yep. So those are all posted. Like 5 or 6 hours of stuff yesterday. Tons of stuff. All right. Let's see what we got here. So it's good to see our modifier. We don't have to worry about it, though. Probably get rid of D, huh? Yeah. Let's go see what's going on with 67901. I'm slow. Okay. 901. And 03 and 04. What is our differences here? What have we got going on? Does anybody have their one-word differences? They're all under repairs. For 01, I have under mine donor cadaver, right? And then internal and external for the 03 and 04. Perfect. Yep. All right, let's check out our question and see what we got going on. Tissue superiorly, inferiorly. Outline of the external was exposed. What do you guys think? And that's where I'm lost. So we're definitely doing a blip repair, right? We have the left upper eyelid. That's all we're doing. Attenuated area. Very neat word. I like that word. And aperonius was dehisced. Wow. They're pulling out the $4 words right there. And placed in a mattress fashion. They're putting it to bed in attenuated tissue. Superior. Wow. So, out of all that I was sitting there underlining was just fancy words. The only ones we really needed to worry about are the ones that match our one-word differences, which we both of those CPT codes have the torso levitator in there. We have the resection, we have the advancement, just the internal and external approach is our differences. And of course, we already had right there the external, using the external skin incision. So they're trying not to say that they used external approach. They're using every other word other than that. Trying so hard. So which one simply goes with our external? It's really the only word we needed to worry about. I like those fancy words though, but they have nothing to do with the CPT codes. Yep, A's are external. That's all you had to match up was external or internal. And you could look for the word donor too. If you were looking for the O1, you could look for donor tissue. But that's the only word you needed to worry about. That's it. I just love all these fancy words. They're just super nice. But they're useless for picking out which one we're doing. The only one we needed was the external or internal. That's it. R4. And there's your rationale if you wanted it. I got lost in the mattress. I know, right? A mattress fashion. I'm like, what? Huh? 4-0 silk sutures were then placed in a mattress fashion. How, number one, do you have enough room on the eyelid, right? The eyelid, which is, little bitty, to do any kind of stitch in a mattress fashion. I'm just wondering. Interesting. That's some tiny, tiny work right there. But yeah, all you needed to look for was internal and external. You knew that, Betty, but just don't get lost in the question. Just keep going till you find internal or external. That's it. Pick your answer and move it on. All right, next one has lots of stuff because I figured we could look at some sequencing and stuff to go along with it. Anybody see any coding irregularities or anything that would not be coded? She's eliminating A already. 40. Yep, I don't like it because it's super far away from all these O's, right? Another thing that would help us, well, we obviously know we're in the eyes, right? Look at C. It doesn't have any modifiers in it. There's no E's. So I would get rid of C too. So then the only difference is your modifier E1 and E2. I would just go look up and see where we're, and then that way you don't even have to look up a CPT code or a diagnosis code because those two are different. Those two are different, and even your CPT code is different. And to look up those CPT code descriptors would take longer, or even the diagnosis ones to get down to the 11, when you can just do a quick front cover look of our CPT book on the very front cover. And I think our E's are here. Yep. E1 is our upper left. So upper left. And then our E2 is lower left. So all we have to do is figure out if we're upper or lower. That's all we need from our question. You're on eyes this week in class. That's awesome. So don't forget about if they don't have any modifiers in it and you're in the E's, and these are E diagnoses, just get rid of those answers. And then let's see, are we upper or lower left eyelid? Each upper eyelid. So we would get rid of our lower, right? And then B would be our answer. And we didn't have to look at any CPT codes or dive into that ICD-10 book. We could just do this with one quick modifier check and move on to our next question. Yep. Save yourself some time and some stress. Don't worry about that it has all these numbers and all that stuff. Just take it one step at a time. Do your process of elimination. Then look for coding irregularities. And then take the easiest route to find the answer, whether it's CPT, diagnosis, or a modifier check. Sometimes it's easier to look at the diagnosis versus a CPT code because sometimes those CPT codes get crazy, you know. So even if I just still had the 01 and the 08, but I didn't have any modifiers, let's just say those were gone, then it was a difference between those two diagnoses. Because the diagnosis code book, green font is the differences, you know, it lights up for you, tells you it's left eye or right eye, versus going through the CPT book and looking at those CPT code descriptors. If I didn't have modifiers to look at, I would go to the diagnosis codes and look at those two differences because it's easier to see your differences because they have them lit up for you in the green font. Just saying, but either way would work. Just sometimes the CPT codes get crazy. All right, what about this one? I've done this question before, but just in case nobody knows, what would it be? We've got an itis, right? It doesn't help us because nothing says infection, but doesn't that go with nose, like sinuses? I don't know. Got inflammation. Don't really usually have much spine inflammation. Guess we could with bulging disc and stuff. Our brain can with encephalitis, but that's not encephalitis, right? We've got conjunctivitis of the eye or inner ear. Everybody's saying A. Yeah, you know, and if you think about your ear being a labyrinth of all this stuff, you know, from the outer ear to the inner ear, it's just a labyrinth. That's what I think of. Your eye is just a ball. It's not really a labyrinth, but I think of the ear as a labyrinth. Anyway, that's how I associate it. I'm just playing around, pretending if I don't know, what would I be thinking about? How would I process it if I had no clue? How would I ration out what the answer was? You can always go to the back of the CPT book and look up the word Labyrinthitis in the back of the CPT book. It'll tell you what CPT code it is associated with, and you can go to that CPT code and see what kind of surgery you're working on. Are you working on the ear or the eye? And find it that way, just in case you didn't know. I think I may have done this one recently, if not in our last workshop, but just because it had to deal with eyes and ears, I wanted to go back to it. They're all in a row, which Miss Edwards loves. She does not like eliminating anything. She likes to look at them all. But we can definitely, hopefully, get rid of D because it's not a 926, but at least you get the 3 to look at. All right, so we'll go to 92601. Yes, these questions could very likely be on your CPC exam. Some are easier than these, some are more difficult than these, but this is a good representation of what you will see during your exam for sure. And I like to teach you how I would attack the question, which means I don't look at the question. I try to avoid the question altogether. Don't even look at it. I only look at the answers. I let the CPT codes tell me what the answer is based off of the guidelines and stuff that we know about the codes and what the book's directions are telling you. If any of these codes have a plus symbol in front of them in the CPT book when I go to look them up, then I know they can't be the correct answer because they're an add-on code. So 92601 and 03 and 04, none of them are add-on codes, so we still have to look them up. So our 01, our one-word difference is we have an age difference, which is younger than 7 years old. And then the 03 and 04 are age differences of over 7. So I can at least eliminate something here because I just need a patient's age. And we have a patient's age at the top of the question, most likely. So we can definitely get rid of A because that is a 7-year-old. They're younger than 10. That means I will keep the 3 and the 4. Now I can just look at my differences. 04 is subsequent visit and 03 is initial. So all I have to do is look in my question to see if this is the initial turn on in programming or if this is a subsequent follow-up. So I'm just going to skim the question, not read it from the bottom up, and I see the word programming. So that's going to lead me to thinking that it's B. I'm just going to make sure there was nothing about coming back in a follow-up. And there doesn't seem to be any words that match up something like that. She did just have a recent placement of the cochlear implant, which I know they don't turn it on as soon as they implant it. They let it heal in place, bring you back for programming afterwards. So this appears to be initial for me. So I would pick B and move on to my next question for sure. That's how I would handle that one. Yep. Immunizations. Oh no. Oh no. All right. Let's get to our immunization page in medicine. I know it's too late. It's already 8 o'clock here. Twinkle, how long have I been on? I don't know. Is she on? I think she's on. But I'm trying to hurry and get to these before y'all get sleepy. So let's see. We've got differences of our 91s and our 81s. Those are two differences in the front of our E&M book codes. Figuring out if they're established or new would be the easiest thing to do right off the bat. I believe the 81s are new patients and the 91s are established. Is that correct? Yeah? Okay, let's see. We've got a 2-month-old who returns. So she is established with this group. So we can get rid of the 8s. Is that right? We can get rid of the 8s. Okay. That's good. Good. Okay, thank you. I didn't want to go all the way up to E and M. So then we have our differences of the vaccines are the same. It looks like we've got our 80, 80. We've got our 23, 23, and our 70 and 70. So our vaccines have not changed. The only thing that did change was our components. The 60 and the 61, when we are billing those, are going to have to be billed not based on how many vaccines are given, which were just 3, right? We bill off how many components were discussed with the patient for the risk of the vaccines. So we need to know how many components our 80 vaccine has in it, which if we go to our 80, 906, 80. Yep, to go high. Our rotavirus right here has 1 component. Our 73, 10723 has 5 components. And our 70 if you don't have those components written down beside those CPT codes, be sure and write them down. Has one component. So if we add them together, 5, 6, 7, we need a number to match 7 for the 60 and the 61. This means one component. This means 2. If we add 2 plus 1, we get 3 components. That does not equal the 7. If I come down here to D, we add the 3 times and the 4 times. 3 plus 4 equals our 7. So we know that D is right. Other things that you can do is if you're in the 60 and the 61, always code or pick the answer that has the most amount of components in it, because it's more than likely that answer. Or go through the immunization list and write down all the components listed for each vaccine. I think I have a document on our Discord group that shows you which CPT code and then how many components are in each one. It's different, though, if the patient does not get counseling, and we're going to be using our 71 and our 72 codes. Those are based off which vaccine or how many vaccines, even if they're multiple, are given in each vaccine. But this one, because the kid did get the counseling right there, counsels on the vaccines, we're definitely going to be using our 60 and 61. Yeah, thank you, Twinkle. Very much Twinkle. When we bill, most of the time, I think our doctors, we always handed out those little pamphlets that come with the vaccine, but I don't know if they really did, I guess, the counseling to say, okay, if you get this vaccine, and we always told the kids, we always told the moms and dads, they're going to get a fever. They're not going to feel good for a few days. These are the risks of what you're going to get. But if you don't, you could risk the chance of getting, polio or whatever. So I think we counseled them, but we never did bill for the counseling. We always billed per vaccine with those 71s and stuff. So, yeah. All right, let's go down to this one right here. So I think I did this one, I'm not sure, last night during the workshop that we had. So it looks like we have a difference between whether they got counseled or they did not get counseled. But the third vaccine is the same. The first vaccine is the same. That's a tetanus. I think this is a Prevnar or something. But we do have a difference in the two vaccines. And it might be worth it for you to go see what the differences are in those two vaccines. Make sure you pick out your right vaccine when they're different before you worry about the components or not, because if we pick out the right vaccine here, then we're going to get a difference between counseling or no counseling. Then we don't have to count any components. So I think that's a better option if there's a difference in your vaccines. I think that's a safer choice instead of guessing or always picking high. If you want a bona fide 100% answer correct, it's wonderful when they do split up the vaccines. And if we can just pick out the correct vaccine set, then we only have a difference whether they got counseled or not. And I think that's great. So let's go look up our 90658. 90658. Fortunately, I don't know which freaking question y'all are going to run into, but I can at least give you strategies for how I would handle each one based on what I'm seeing. So 660 or coding irregularity in B times 1. Yeah, we're going to pretend that's not here. But yes, it is. Nobody times one anything, of course. So our 660 is influenza, the trivariant type. It's live. So flu live. What is our 58? It is a split virus, intermuscular. So we just need to know, are we doing a live virus? A live virus, which is here, or a split virus on our influenza. So if we look down here, we've got the live virus going in. So our live virus is the 60. So we're going to keep 60. So we will get rid of A and D, right? And then our only difference is whether they got counseled or not. And we'll pretend that that coding irregularity isn't there. Just so that I can teach something. So we'll look through this question and see if they got any counseling at all. It doesn't look like they don't say anything. It does say it's just administered by a nurse. She wouldn't be the one to counsel, right? They can give you precautions and tell you what to expect, but they won't tell you what the risk involved in getting them or the risk of not getting them. They can't interject that. So we would get rid of the counseling part of it, leaving just the C as the only possible answer, if you did it like that and didn't see that coding irregularity. Times 1 is silly. I hope that helps just a little bit. Just a little bit. We got some rationale here, of course, if you want to see all that mess. I do have one question here that may come up. I can't remember if I put it on here or not, but I'm like, why did they pick that as the answer? So I'm still not 100% sure on it, but maybe we can work it out together. So get your thinking caps on. Let's look at this one. So we have a difference between the first vaccines, especially this 07 and this 10. So that could be one thing that I would like to go to first to see before I worry about my 60s or my 70s. There's also an extra one over here with the 16. Looks like there's either 4 vaccines or there's 3 vaccines. So that's cool. We could either count the vaccines or we could look up our differences between the 07 and the 10. What is 907? 07 and 10. If you can ever find any of these vaccines, they're always all over the place. Well, if you want to start, first thing you got to do is decide you want to start. And I don't recommend a course, and I recommend self-studying. It'll save you some money and time. And the first thing I would do is go to AAPC's website. It's aapc.com. Look at your certificates that you can earn. You don't need any college. You don't need any prerequisites. You can just sit and take for the exam. Look at the cost. You are going to need 3 books to go with it. Your CPT book, your ICD-10, and your CPT book, and your HIPHICS. Sorry, I labeled one of them twice. The CPT book is the most important. I would recommend getting the current years on that one, but the ICD-10 and the HIPHICS Could be prior yearbooks. You could get them used to save you some money. You need to look at the cost of taking the exam. You need to look to see if you even have local chapters in your area. That affects, because you can buy 2 tries at the exam if you have a local chapter near you and could go take them. You can fail the first time and retake and take it a second time for the same cost. If there's no local chapters near you, then you can take it online, but it's one time try or fail. You need to figure out if you can afford to take the exam, if you can afford to buy the books. You can apply for AAPC's grant. They do have one monthly. Every month you can keep reapplying for books or for the exam. Once you decide you want to do it and you want to try, get the CPT book. Follow me. I'll teach you how to prep your book ahead of time. We'll worry about the other 2 books later. Once you get your CPT book prepped 100%, then you can start practicing with me with my free lives. I do it 3 nights a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for 2 hours. I'll present you practice questions just like this, directed at the exam that you need to take. It's not from a coding point of view, it's from the exam point of view. I teach you how to pass the certification exam. You will learn how to code on the job once you get a job. And then once you finish prepping your CPT book, we'll look into getting your ICD-10 and HipPix books used from some other location to save money, and then practice your questions. Practice taking your exam questions and then get ready. Schedule your exam and take it. Yes, it's aapc.com. Yes, I like it over the other one because it's more nationally recognized. There's another company out there called AHIMA, AHIMA, but it's a tougher test. They don't offer any retakes for free, and it's not as well known for employers as the AAPC version. You're welcome. '07. Where is our '07? Has anybody found it yet? I've been distracted. 90707. AHIMA. There you go. '07 is on page 726. And then our 10 is there too. They're both mumps, measles, and rubella. One of them includes the varicella vaccine. The other one does not. It is by itself. So we just need to see if we're doing a combo vaccine or if we're doing mumps, measles, and rubella by itself. So it looks like we ordered 4 individual tests, not a combo, until we got down to the Hib and the hepatitis B. But as far as the MMR and varicella, they are split apart. So it would make us have 4 vaccines. So we can get rid of C and D. Then that only makes our difference between the counseling or no counseling. And I just like this method a lot better when we're able to do it like this, instead of counting the components. So right here, this is all we're getting. There was just an assessment and a plan. There's no indications that they got any counseling at all. So what would we pick as our answer? Very good, Karina. That's perfect. Yep, we would pick B. We would pick B for sure. How you get 4 vaccines. because there's 4 vaccines: mumps, measles, rubella, DTaP, which is your tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis. We have a combo vaccine, which is Comnivax. That's the proper name of the manufacturer's name of the vaccine. It has Hib in it and hepatitis B. And then our 4th ordered vaccine is our chickenpox. So we have 4 vaccines ordered. If the doctor wanted us to do the combo vaccine that is in the tin, he would have written it out as an order like that, and there would only be 3 orders. Yep. Here is your rationale and answer. If they want you to combine those shots, they won't write them out separately. It will be just like that Hib done. It will be in parentheses, or it will have a slash varicella, all on one word looking thing before they did another comma and did another thing. Oh, I didn't put the question down for the other vaccine one that I had a question on. I wonder, maybe I can find it. Okay, because these 2 are my heart attack ones. I wanted to eventually get these put into the same query so that y'all could see them together. And it's taken me forever to do this, a year. So these are the 2 heart attack ones that I keep talking about this evolves and converts. What I put on my cardiology notes, I put a lot on my cardiology notes, but yeah. Right here where I put NSTEMI evolves, STEMI converts, the answer is always STEMI, but then I keep telling y'all there's another question out there that if it's AMI, it equals NSTEMI. Here's the question. I only found that one to put with my STEMI question. And it says if an AMI, an acute myocardial infarction, heart attack, is documented as non-trans or subendocardial, but the site is provided, how is it reported according to our guidelines? Perfectly, this one was on your exam. I kept looking and looking for it. I've seen it, wanted it forever, and I keep trying to explain it, but I was explaining it as it was written as the guideline in the book, which says that if an AMI is noted as non-transmural or subendo, it equals NSTEMI. But their question wasn't that. Their question was about it being non-transmural or subendocardial. They're asking which one of these do we code it, is what they're asking. They're not asking if it's STEMI or non-STEMI. That's not what they're asking. And they never, ever, ever give you an unspecified answer, whether it's a CPT code or a diagnosis code. Y'all know that. So the only answer it can be is B. But the way the question is written, it doesn't look like they're asking you if it's this or that, because this is not even one of their options. But that is their question, the submyocardial AMI. Yep. B is your answer. But the way the question is written, you wouldn't know that that's what they're asking. What is Betty laughing at? Going against Mimi. Going against Mean. Y'all two battling it out. Let's see. What did Betty go? Betty went C. Mean went B. Mean got it. Huh. Betty, you're right on the things you know and you've researched and seen them before. Sometimes the new stuff is like where that comes out of left field. It does me the same way. I have to see it several times to get it right and retain it into my memory banks for sure. Mean's on fire. I'm going to have trouble finding any questions to stump her tomorrow, I'm sure. Here's our other question we're used to seeing. That is, if it converts, and it could say evolves, it doesn't matter. We don't care what it says. It always is the answer is STEMI. If it evolves or it converts, it's always STEMI. But I finally have those two questions in the same area. I'll make sure to put them on the cardiology part that I do, and we've got them together. And because I couldn't find it, I knew the guideline says to report it as NSTEMI, but that's not the way the question is written. They're wanting to know if it's this way or that way. Little jokers. Little jokers. They weren't asking about STEMI or NSTEMI at all. Let me see if I can't find that immunization one real quick, because I know there's another one out there and I'm not sure how they got the answer, and I wanted to ask y'all about it, and I probably won't be able to find it because I'll be under pressure, like that song Under Pressure. What's that Under Pressure song? In fact, I know it's on, where is it? Where's my stuff? It is on, what did I do? Yeah. Let me see. 904, right? Yep, it's this one. I think where'd it go? Yep, what answer is this one? Here it is. Copy, copy, copy. Where is tonight's? Tonight is over here. I'm still working on freaking 4-4. Okay, let me post this one down. Paste, paste, paste. Okay. This is the immunization one. I don't 100% understand. But I think doing it the way where I look for the vaccines first is going to be better. And then we have a difference of these, right? So our 90658 Betty and Tweakle are like the queens of research on some of this stuff when I don't even know the answer. There's just a lot of codes and a lot of guidelines. Thousands and thousands of them. And I did peds and gave a ton of vaccines, but I did not do any of the billing. All right, 90658. And we had super bills back then. Do y'all remember super bills? Lord, they had all these codes and vaccines and whatnot written down, and you just circled what you did that day. We had super bills. 90658. influenza again, and then our 960 is influenza. So a difference between the live and the split virus again. Yeah, all that handwritten stuff. Betty and I are from the same generation. We just circle or check mark or whatever. So let's see if we are doing a live virus. Yep, we are doing the live virus, live influenza. So we're going to keep our 60. So we're going to get rid of the 58 and the 58. So since we're doing it this way, I believe I've done this question before where we picked D was the right answer because of the 73, because we didn't look at the vaccines at all. We can tell right here that the ×1 is crap, of course, but also did they get counseling or not get counseling? So right here they got it done by the nurse. So we can definitely see that C is going to be our answer. But my question is, why does the live virus get the 74 versus the 73? So if we look at, I know this is intermuscular and sub-Q, and our live virus goes up the nose, goes nasally. Why do we do the add-on code for each additional vaccine 74 instead of doing the 73, which is the intranasal or oral route when we had one sub-Q, one intermuscular, wherever it is, right there, and then our live virus is administered through the nose. Anybody know? Okay, Terry, I'll get back to you in just a second. Back to the AMI question. The note in cardiology. I'll get back to you. 71 and 73 cannot be coded together. Is there a do not? There is. There's a do not. I wonder why. Though, why? Just because I know I have one that is sub-Q, one is muscular, and one that is nasal. And my 73 is for the nose. 71 and 72 I get are for these. I just really like the nose one to go with the nose vaccine administration. But there is a do not. Yep. Well, I'm like a kid in a candy store. You can't just tell me do not. Tell me why I cannot. You skip down to the, I know. Yeah. Look underneath the 90472. There's a use 90472 in conjunction with 90460, 90471, and 90473. And talk about some confusing crap right there. It says use the 72 with the 73 and then 71. It's worded all wrong. I mean, oh my God. That use in conjunction with 60, 71, and 73. Use your 72 with it. Oh. Sometimes this book is so infuriating. Let's see. Sub-Q, nasally. Because it's another parent code. That's got to be the reason why. It's a parent code. You can only have one parent code. 71 is the only parent you can have. We can do add-on codes. We just can't do the parent. That's why. So 71 for the first administration of whatever vaccine. Since we have two that are going sub-Q and intramuscular, we're going to pick our 71. If they were all nasal or oral routes, you would pick the 73. So if we had an oral polio and a nasal flu and one sub-Q, you would pick the 73. Yep. I just had to sit here and talk it out with myself. So 71 is your only parent because we're under the same header. We're under all administration of whatever we're given. We're under the same header. We can only do one parent. Can't do 71 and 73 together. We have to do the add-on codes. So do 71 because we have more that are sub-Q or intramuscular, and then we'll do an add-on code for the other sub-Q or muscular. We'll do the add-on code for the nose. Yep. There we go. But 73 is not an add-on code, and you jump to 74. Correct. They're two parents. And each of their child codes can be used with either parent code. That's about some crazy stuff right there, too. I mean, you wouldn't take a cabbage of the arterial and use one of its add-on codes for how many arterial patches you're doing with a venous cabbage add-on code. I don't know. Anyway, so that's crazy. But these two vaccines administration parent codes are independent, cannot be used together, but their child codes they each have can be used with either parent code. Yeah. I'll write something up to make it easier for you guys. I just had to think it out in my head. That's a nightmare. Okay. Like infusions. Yeah. Mean may have something in it. I have not worked up my infusions, my medication in the back yet. So I may run into this again, especially when you're doing intravenous infusions. Some are with or without dehydration or without other components. I bet you could use interchangeable add-on codes with opposite parents, but yeah, you can't use the two parents together. Anyway, crazy, insane. Let's go back to Terry's question. Back to the AMI question. The note in cardiology on page 240. Yeah, I'll write up something on immunizations. I got to check what I wrote last year on my printed version because I typed it out. Because I vaguely remember this now that I'm talking about it and that I've already done this and I know this somewhere. But it was locked in one of those long-term memories put away that I don't remember. But now that it's tickling to the surface, I'm like remembering this again. So I may have known this a year ago about the immunizations. So no, my Terry, to answer your question about that guideline I wrote in the under cardiology, okay, is written exactly as it's written in our guidelines in our ICD-10 book. So our guidelines say this stuff about the evolves and converts. I write it out exactly as it's written in our guidelines. Then that last thing that we're writing about the AMI right here, that the AMI is documented as non-transmural or subcardial, but the site is provided. It's still to be coded as subcardial AMI. Yep, it does look like it has but still needs to be coded as subcardial AMI. I need to write in that last part down there. It is still coded as subendocardial AMI. So if I can write and get my pen up underneath here and needs to be, I'll show it off in just a second, needs to be documented it's subcardial, right? AMI. So we need to add a sentence to that one. It needs to be documented as subcardial AMI for that third bullet point, I guess you'd say, underneath cardiology that I have in my. Don't stop the live. Don't stop. NSTMI evolves, converts, and then our last bullet needs to have that last thing written down. And y'all can screenshot that. You can get rid of chat by swiping right or left, I forget which one, and then doing a screenshot of that. So I'm on page G16 of the ICD-10 guidelines. So I didn't know how the question was written and was guessing from what everybody was saying would be the most important information. And then when I found the question today, I knew there was a disconnect between what I had in my notes and what the question needed us to say or have in our notes. So I'm glad I found it today. Yep. Happy to help. I wish I'd gotten it all down the first time, but I do my best. And I just want to bring up my guidelines from last year and see what did I write down for my immunizations last time. I don't even know if I have it on this laptop or was it on last year's laptop. Oh, I know where it is, though. It'll be under my drive online. Let's see, where's 2021? 2021, yep. And where's my immunizations? Ooh, I thought I got done sooner in April, but it looks like some of them I didn't finish till June. Ooh, I thought I was running behind. Where is immunizations? Oh my gosh. Let me switch this to by name. Maybe that'll be easier. Immunizations. Where's immunizations? I could just search the word, right? I don't even know if I named it immunizations. Probably just named it IMM, knowing me. Let's see. Is there anything with that listing? No, of course not. I wouldn't have named it something easy that I could find, would I? Not at all. Oh, where am I at? Where's my chart? I don't want to. Okay, I want to not look up that. I want to go back to where I was. Okay, because I know you're here. Did I put you here? I know where to find it. Hold on. Okay, you stay put. Where is... Just go to Etsy and download it. I know I can do that. Listings. I know I can do that. Where did I put it for last year? Because I'm wondering if I put that guideline in there. There it is. Nope, wrong one. Wrong one. Anyway, any questions before I end this? Just want to see. Maybe I took immunizations off. I think I did. Did I put them under drafts or inactive? They're under inactive. Inactive stuff. Nope, they're not there either. I have no idea where I put the immunizations from last year. We're going to have another live on Wednesday night. Y'all need to let me know, too, what y'all want to go over for next week's live. Geez, Pete, there they are. Hey, moms, how's it going? We're just playing around with the immunizations. This is my immunizations PDF that I made last year. And I'm just seeing if I already had some sort of information on here about our lovely vaccine immunizations, the differences between the 70s and the 60s. Yeah, right here. I wonder if I put... See, I have it right there. It says don't use with the 73. But what happens when you have a nasal vaccine that you're given with injectable vaccines and you need to document that you gave an intranasal one? So I have here that we don't use those together. We would use, and see, I put the 04 there. We put the 74 with it. Interesting. And then I have some examples, I'm sure, down here at the bottom of how to code. Yeah, examples of a 6-month-old. Examples of a dog bite. Get the rabies shot. My goodness. when I didn't know what I was doing. These watermarks are so dark. Oh my gosh. I had in there not to use them together, but I didn't explain the part that in our book. So what we're talking about is these two parent codes. We have our 71 parent code and our 73 parent code. Our 73 parent code is for our nasal or oral vaccines, when our 71 is for our sub-Q and intramuscular. We had two vaccines. One of them was sub-Q, one of them was intramuscular, and our third vaccine was intranasally. Because we had two that were injectables, we're going to use this parent code. And then we're going to use that parent's add-on code, the 72, for the extra intramuscular to go with the sub-Q. But then we would use this parent code's child code for the nasal vaccine that we gave. Very confusing. The two parents you can't use together, but the child codes can be used with either one. If we had the oral polio being given, the influenza through the nasal, and then one sub-Q shot, we would give this as the parent code. And then we would give this code as our injectable add-on code to that code. Insane. But I'll write up some examples on this page, and like I did the diagnosis code one or something, and make it more explainable. But immunizations, I could spend all day on this. I know it's late perfectly. I'm so sorry it's so late. But I hope this has been helpful for you guys for sure. I'm almost done with radiology and can get those notes done. I did 2 extra lives yesterday with book prep for radiology, and those are already on YouTube. The workshop that I did yesterday, too, free for my birthday for you guys, is also on YouTube. And it is done and posted and ready for y'all to view whenever y'all have time. I only have maybe 8 more pages left to go of radiology, then I can start on musculoskeletal, and we'll get that done. I need to know what y'all want to see on Wednesday's live. If y'all have got any ideas or suggestions, please, or wants or wish list stuff, let me write it down so I have it. And then I've got a prep for a ton of lives tomorrow. I'm starting out with Miss Edwards. It's 7 a.m. I know I have Mean, and then I have one more person tomorrow. And then I need to know when and if y'all want another workshop. Do y'all want another workshop? What kind of stuff do you want to see on the workshop if I do another workshop? I probably won't do one this Sunday. And next Sunday is Easter Sunday, right? Right? Or is this Sunday? This Sunday is Easter Sunday, so definitely won't do one on Easter Sunday. So I could do one on the 24th or the 1st, but I don't know what y'all would be interested in seeing. More E&M, more vaccines. Yeah, we won't do this Sunday. Definitely won't. I got the bunny coming to the house, so. Not that my kids deserve an Easter bunny, but they getting it, whether they like it or not. So we can do the 21st. What would be worth it for you guys? What would y'all love to see? Thank you for all the likes. But for this Wednesday, y'all want E&M and more immunizations? That's what I can see so far. And yes, on the workshops. What would be good? What would y'all like to see? sections that I've not done in workshops yet, I guess, are, did we do urinary or female OB and male OB? We done ears and eyes? I don't think so. I did a little bit of musculoskeletal. What would y'all want to see? Nervous. Nervous is a booger. Lab path, lab path. Men's. Female. I think so too. Because I could do a lot of the OB and delivery issues, triplets, allergies. I could throw that on for Wednesday, allergies. I still need to find y'all's COVID question. I did not do tonight. $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Okay, guys. All right. Got plenty of ideas down for sure. For sure. I hope this has been helpful. I've got so much. Okay, go back. There we go. There's where we were tonight. I've got to prep for my 3 lives for tomorrow. Or my 3 tutorings, not lives, tutorings. Now I can't even talk. Trash can night. We forgot trash cans last week, so we have like half a month's worth of garbage in the house I have to get out tonight. Google does not harass me enough to make me get my stuff done. I can ignore her. She needs to stop letting me ignore her and keep harassing me. I can set all these calendars and alarms, but it doesn't always work. Yep, I got, and Michelle. I have somebody, Michelle, tomorrow. If she has not sent me her list of wants, of what she wants to go over, please be sure and do that. She did group and she booked a one-on-one, so I don't know what she wants. She just said thank you when she booked. So I got to find her. No, I don't want to cancel it. No. Darn phone. I'm so glad you learned new stuff. ICD-10, more ICD-10 for Wednesday. I can do that because I think I only did the OB sequencing. So I'll find some external causes sequencing and stuff that we need to do. Burn sequencing is always a fun one to add. But don't worry about diagnosing too much. You're only going to have about 5 or 6 questions for the whole exam on ICD-10. And pretty much they're in order. There's just some coding irregularities that you can use to your benefit to knock out some answers that you know are completely wrong. So that's useful to learn sequencing and diagnosing. That way you can use it to your advantage to get it down to where you know the only answer is the only answer it can be. So it's helpful to learn that stuff, even if we're not going to have so many on our exam. But I don't want you to waste too much time. I'd really want you to focus on those codes. Focus on writing the one-word differences between those codes that start out with the same words. That is super helpful. Be sure and fix your out-of-code sequencing. Write down the page numbers down beside all of the codes that say anything in red that they are out of order. Go write down the page number. That'll save you from being very upset at the end of your exam because you can't find anything in lab path or medicine. Mark your do nots, mark your do's, mark it when it says to use a modifier or not. That's super helpful in your CPT book. And come to our Discord, please, if y'all have further questions, need more help. Our Discord room is fantastic. You just download that app that just disappeared. Looks like Mickey Mouse's britches, but it's really a game controller. But download that app, then click on my link tree here in TikTok. Join our Discord. It's super cool. We have a main chat room, but if you click on the little lines, which I got lots of messages I got to get to, you have all these rooms. And all these rooms have like practice questions in them, E&M resources, what to expect on the day that you take your exam, ICD-10 resources, hip picks. Plus you get to congratulate and see everybody who passed, who we've helped, get job resources, CEU resources. And even if you want to go for your COC or other certificates, we have those practice question rooms too. So super handy dandy rooms. Got it all organized by whatever's going on. Plus you get screenshots of everything, whatever's going on. You can access everything from day one. You don't have to be there like with the Facebook. Our study group there on Facebook, you have to been in the group and see a picture already posted to be able to have access to any pictures. You don't get to see the old pictures, so that's why I like Discord. So it's awesome. Yep, there goes my trash cans again. My alarm is still going off. Thank goodness. I've got to go get those taken down so that we're not here another week without garbage pickup. And you can't get in. So what you do is all you need to do is either go to my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com, or you can click on the link here in bio in TikTok. But if you go to medicalcodingbyjen.com, my lovely little website that I have right here, you can click on social media links, right? You can click on that. And Discord is right there. And if you have the app downloaded and you've already set up your account on Discord, it's free. There's no payment. Just hit this thing that says join now, and it will take you straight into my Discord, and you won't have to do anything fancy at all. But you can go straight there, medicalcodingbyjen.com, go to resources, hit that link. You can also go right here to TikTok. You click on my hair. There's a picture up there, circle bubble picture. It'll bring you to this screen right here. You can click that link tree right there, and it'll take you to everything. All the links are there. Pinterest, Instagram, Discord app is right there. Just click on the Discord app, and the Discord app will automatically put you in our server room. So accept the invite. And that's it. You'll be put in there. And look, almost 700 people in there to help you. And Betty and Twinkle and Auntie CC and Janet are your moderators in there. They're there to help you and help me. So whatever you need, they're always there. Yep, it's awesome. It does take a little learning because it was, it's built for gamers. So it's it's not fluffy like Windows with drop-down menus and stuff, but it works just fine. There's no tracking involved. No one's sending you advertisements in the side corners or anything. I don't get paid or anything by, like if you were in a Facebook group or something, some of that stuff can be monetized with the advertising on the side. It's just strictly business and there for you guys to help each other out. So that's wonderful. I think that's great. You won't, see advertisements for stuff for sale and all that stuff. That's why the gamers made Discord. They didn't want social media to be involved. They just wanted a place to store their goodies for their Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot that they're doing. So that's all. It's super handy dandy and perfect to use for what we're doing. And plus it stores tons of information. And it is time. Thank you, Twinkle. Thank you so much. Hey, Misty. Nice to see you. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see y'all again on Wednesday night for another free 2-hour live. We'll do some more practice exam questions, and that is the day before my birthday, so that is super cool. Thursday night, I think we're going to go out on my birthday and go see the Harry Potter new movie that comes out, the Dumbledore thing. So I think we'll go do that. That'll be fun with the boys. Yeah, birthday's on the 14th, the day the Titanic hit the iceberg. It sank on the 15th, but it actually hit the iceberg on the 14th. Thank you very much for the likes and the shares. We had 16 shares of the live. That's wonderful. And 3,000 likes. I really appreciate it, guys. I hope this has been helpful. I will see y'all in Discord, and we'll see 3 of you tomorrow morning, bright and early, rolling out of bed, 7 o'clock. We're going to be doing tutoring all day through till about 2 o'clock tomorrow. So I'll be back on Discord after that. And if y'all need me, holler at Betty. She takes her exam soon, so if she passes, she may be moving on. So y'all use her while you can, and I know I am. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks, guys.